This is the EVP Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the EVP Podcast with your co-host. I am DVO.
I'm Beaker.
Ghosty McGhostface in the house.
That's right. We're all back for another episode, and we're traveling around the world once again. Not on our yacht yet, but we're traveling to Venice.
One second. Something just popped my head because he said ghost.
Something popped your head?
Yeah, something popped my head.
Something popped your head.
Whoa.
I was recently asked why we call him Ghosty.
Yes?
And for those of you that haven't listened to our earlier episodes, if you're listening now for the first time ever on this episode, we call him Ghosty McGhostface because he was jealous that he didn't have a cool nickname.
You didn't have a cool nickname.
Originally, he started out just saying his real name.
Hey, I'm Dale.
I'm Dale.
I'm Dale.
Because we got DVO. I've been Beaker for like 20 years.
I've been
You
DVO
just-
longer than that.
Congratulations.
Yes.
And he was just Dell. He's like, I don't have a cool nickname. And so he's like,
Not a
maybe I'll just be like
nickname,
Ghosty McGhostface.
No,
And
that's not how it went.
No.
No. We said we should do a poll.
we didn't do a poll, though.
I know. And because I said, I made the joke of, because probably the winner would be Ghosty McGhostface. And then the next week I introduced him as Ghosty McGhostface, and it stuck.
That sounds legitimate. I like that. That's how it happened.
That's
I
exactly
remember
how
it.
it happened.
I remember it that now. I don't remember it. Go
You
back
can
and
always
listen.
go back and listen. It's,
Yeah,
it's
we don't know how to-
chronicled somewhere.
It's on one of those episodes.
Yeah.
But that's why we call him Ghosty.
So he wanted a nickname. We were going to do a poll. We didn't do a poll, and we just gave him the nickname.
And I'm fine with it. Ghost Malone in the house.
Well, because now you've been it for over a year and a half now.
Yep.
Feels like it.
Feels like,
Feels like a year and a
God,
half.
you're old. Should we sing? We can sing to him.
yeah, he just had his birthday.
He just turned, he's old now.
Birthday, dear Ghosty.
Happy birthday to you.
Thanks, guys.
What'd you do for your birthday?
Just me and my daughter went to dinner. That was it.
And then what'd you do the next day?
Thanksgiving.
That's right.
He went to dinner again.
Ate again.
You stretch out your stomach for your birthday so you can have Thanksgiving the next day.
Yep.
I prepared myself.
That's good. It's a good idea. It's
doesn't
not a
mess
bad idea.
Sorry. I got us off track.
Totally fine. But now we're going back to Venice.
Let's do it. What's in Venice?
Well, in Venice, there's some pizza and stuff. So there's some good stuff. But off of Venice, there is an island.
I like islands.
Yes, the Poveglia Island.
Is it spooky?
It's supposed to be real spooky.
I'm fascinated.
Oh, I guess I'm
Tell me
scared.
more.
So it's and I don't know the distance away, but people take boat rides
looks
over
That-
there.
real
it's
close.
like that
Yeah.
far on a map. For
I
those
don't
of
hear
you
people
on
swimming
YouTube.
over there, so it must not be super close.
I
But
think they want to swim over
But you
there.
can see it from the shore. You can see Poveglia Island. Well, it was inhabited many moons ago, but around 421, that's how old, all right? 421, it became a safe haven. So people from Venice people were already kind of there, but then people were going there around 421 to escape the barbarians of the Huns. Attila and his crew were wreaking some carnage over in Venice. So they escaped by going to Poveglia Island. So it's been around quite a while. People were inhabiting it. I don't know the history of the Huns. I don't know what happened to them. But
Nobody really knows where it all started.
really?
Yeah.
Like how they just started.
Just tear
Cover
shit
them.
up. Yeah.
Oh,
They just know Attila's their leader right now, and so that's kind of where.
trying to take over the world probably.
Yeah, but they don't know where it all or how it all started. I don't think
Sounds
it's
like
documented.
another future episode then.
Goddamn
Mystery.
Mongolians keep bringing down my shitty
The
walls.
Huns. But around 1348, it became more popular again because the bubonic plague was sweeping through Europe. And I was reading 1 in 3 people in Europe died of the plague. 1 in 3. That's like I didn't know it was that crazy.
Whole families were getting taken
That's
out.
pretty nuts. Yeah, 1 in 3 people were dying during the bubonic plague.
Yeah, they're taking them in truckloads
So Venice
Yeah,
to try
to
to
an island.
to try to
to an
help
island.
themselves.
They're driving trucks over there. too.
Yeah, they were taking the people that had it,
Maybe boatloads.
boatloads of plague victims, over to the island. Like, we don't want to deal with you. We're going to quarantine you on this nice little island over here. So they were taking people, yeah, like you said, and people that were just sick. Not as they had the plague, but they were like
Yeah.
sick, and then their family would like speak up for them. They said, "Okay, well, you're coming.
You coughed?
On a
You're
boat
going to
ride.
the
Yeah.
island. You over there, you sneezed, going to the island.
You got a dirty face. You're going on a
yeah."
Just allergies, man. You're going to the island. We're not taking any chances.
So they got brought over there.
It's really like a third of the population was killed by this plague,
That's crazy.
which is bigger than a fourth for you Americans out there.
That is greater. Third is greater than a fourth. You're right. And then once again, another plague came through. 1630s, the Black Plague, the Black Death came through. So 300
Stupid
years later.
rats.
Then these were, again, people were being exiled or quarantined, quote unquote.
Quarantine.
Yeah, to the island. And they were just in the field. So Poveglia Island, there's a water, what do you call it? Canal? I don't know what you call it.
canal.
River that kind of separates the island. And so on the island there, what do you call this building actually? What was it? Do you know? A
Big
bell
ass
tower.
building.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, some type of building. So anyway, there's this big, I guess that you could call it a hospital. You could call it many things because it became many things.
Well, they had several forts at this point.
Forts, yeah.
Because in
yeah, forts.
1645, the Venetian government built a bunch of forts on the island
Mm-hmm.
to help kind of control that canal so they could use it for like trading and stuff like that. And to keep like other countries like military vessels out of that area.
It's just there's a bridge that just you walk across on the other side. But on the other side, they were just burning all of the dead there.
Yeah.
I believe some stats I heard. I don't really know how true accurate they are, but they're saying that the soil, the dirt, is roughly at this point 60% ash of bodies. I mean, it looks pretty green
Yeah.
on some of the videos I watched.
I think
Ash
it's
is
just that
really
one part of the
rich.
island. Because the island's
Yeah.
actually kind of big. So it was just the one part of the island where they were burning everybody. That part of the island. Like everything you're seeing on the videos is going to be away from where they were burning everybody, obviously.
Yeah.
So, but that part of the island where they burned everybody, you're most likely walking on top of like deceased people's ashes. You're going to find more ash than soil.
Yeah, true. And they had plague pits where they were just dug a big pit, threw bodies in there, and just burned all these bodies in plague pits. There was one known plague pit, but they think there were probably many plague pits around the area. So that, within 300 years, just burning dead people for that long a time. But then after the plague had subsided, they decided, let's do something cool with it. So go see what they do with it.
Well, they decided to turn it into a mental hospital. Why not?
Makes
right?
sense. Makes sense.
That was about the time they were doing that. It wasn't just, it's weird because we've talked about like some other mental hospitals. Like we talked about Transalghani, right?
Yeah.
We've talked about Waverly. Waverly was originally tuberculosis, but around that time in the 1800s, late 1800s, early 1900s, there was like this whole movement across the U.S. where they were building a bunch of like lunatic asylums, Transalghani being one of them. But it wasn't just in, like I've researched other places. It wasn't just here in the U.S. where that was happening. It was all over the world. Around that time frame, like there was a lot of lunatic asylums going up, and this became one of them.
True. Tens of thousands of people were burned. So, might be some spirits left over there.
Nah, not haunted one bit.
Yeah. So, anyways, they ended up turning this into a mental hospital, and because of that, they were like tons of people were just arriving to these because they were a lot of people had family members that they didn't know how to take care of, and it was like elderly, mentally handicapped, probably just somebody didn't want really to take care of it anymore.
Seems to be a common thing with mental hospitals back in that time.
Yeah, so they did the exact same thing over there too. So they ended up letting I don't know, they didn't really have any rules. So they were allowing the doctors to do experiments. And it ended up being pretty gross, pretty bad. Ended up this one doctor ended up doing a lot of experimenting with patients. So he was doing lobotomies. Like he wasn't, and he was doing it against people's wills too. Like they didn't have a
What?
say so.
What do you think the people asked for lobotomies?
Well, I mean, some people might. I don't know. People were probably just like.
Do you want a lobotomy? Do you want me to dig out your frontal
they probably
cortex?
didn't
Hell
even
yes,
have-
I do.
They didn't even know what they were doing in it. They probably were just walking in there and sitting down, like, all right, well, what are you doing? Whack! Just right in the head with a nail.
I have a feeling that's kind of how it went with every doctor that performed lobotomies. I think we're going to go dig out your front of your brain. It's going to fix you. I think
we're
they're
just gonna scramble it up a little bit. That'll fix
Yeah,
it.
we got this little device here. See,
Yeah. Some
Man,
wires
see?
got crossed. We'll straighten it
Like,
out. See.
got this little mount. See,
You just turned into a 1920s gangster.
Man.
Man, see, we're going
Got
to
these
do a
little
lobotomy. We're going to fix you up real good, see?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got circles around you. Got 2 left feet. Yeah. So he ended up there was this bell tower that this one doctor would take patients up to do secret experiments with. And
Secret
Because this
experiments.
asylum,
secret experiments.
you think of a sane asylum, right? People are supposed to be going there to get rehab, to get better.
Nobody
And this was more
comes
just
out.
this was more of an exile. Like, you're going here and you're just staying here.
Lobotomies worked a lot better than watermelon water.
Yeah, watermelon seed water.
I bet. So they there was a bell tower, and the doctor would take a patient up there. Nobody knew what would happen. Doors would be locked, and they would just hear screams, having no idea what this.
What is that? It's a doctor doing
Like
his work.
it's
Nothing, don't worry about it. Shh, you don't hear anything, go to sleep.
yeah, it's your turn next though. Like,
Just breathe
worry
into this
about it.
pillow.
But
I don't
then
know what that happened.
ended up one time. Well, somebody, they don't know why or how or what happened, but somebody witnessed the doctor falling from the bell tower, and he ended up dying. That's the myth.
The myth.
Yeah, that is the myth.
But he didn't die from the fall.
No.
How did he die?
He died from his injuries later.
Later.
Like, the fall didn't kill him.
He fell and was just like, ugh.
I did some ASMR there for you.
He's like, ouch. Ugh. My
Apparently, he was
brain-
like enveloped by some like dark mist when he fell.
Oh, yeah.
But he died. Was it a couple days later?
yeah,
or-
it was a couple days
A couple
later.
days later, he
So he
succumbed
had
to
to
his
suffer
injuries.
for a couple days.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
they say that's some
good.
good karma.
Good,
So one of the
good.
things he would do, like he wouldn't even use anesthesia or like he wouldn't clean.
He's more of a mallet type of guy. Mallet and pick type of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's during
Ice-
that area
ice
where
picks.
the dirtier
Yeah.
your tools are, the harder worker you are.
yeah.
Right.
So yeah,
Rust.
the more blood on those tools, the better.
Just so you know, there's not EVPs you might be hearing. Those
Yeah,
are-
those little children laughing are actual. That's an actual child.
Yeah.
I was going crazy. Why did he jump? Why did he fall?
They don't know. They said they could be tormented by ghosts. There could be like the spirits of the patients that he did experiments on were tormenting him, or he was probably trying to do some experiments and the patient
Well, that's what
pushed
he
him.
said. He said that he was being haunted and tormented by ghosts.
Some people think the ghost threw him off the bell tower.
Or possibly, I think a patient was. He probably didn't want to say it that he was working on somebody and they kicked his ass and threw him out the window.
Maybe. But if I remember correctly, I don't think there's any evidence of this actually ever happening. I think it's a myth, is what they say.
I mean, it's all hearsay
It's all hearsay,
because there's no actual proof.
but that's what they say. But you know what the funny thing is so this happened at the bell tower, right?
Yes.
So this day still, people say on quiet night, even though the bell has been removed from the bell tower's still there. But they say on quiet nights, you can still hear the bell ringing in the bell tower. And they say it's the doctor up there ringing the bell.
Ooh.
Spooky, spooky.
Oh yeah.
It is spooky. Is that true, though?
I don't know.
I didn't hear it.
Let's go find out.
We need to go there though. We need to go around the world in our yacht.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think we're getting there.
Yeah, somebody's ordering.
Someone used our link and bought stuff. We got some money coming in now.
Well, after it became the insane asylum, I don't know what year this is. They keep saying mid-20th century, so 50s, 60s, 1950s, 60s was my guess. It became a home for the elderly. I'm sure they weren't taken care of very well.
It's like a common thing. Mental hospital, elderly home.
Yeah.
They're in
Sounds about right.
international
Just like
waters.
did the governments of the world get together and like, okay, this is what we're going to do. In the 20s, we're going to start mental hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
1890s.
They're going to fail. They're going to
Yeah,
work.
they're not gonna
We're
work.
going to do lobotomies. None
Right?
of those will work.
Okay, and then when we close them down, we'll wait like 20 years and we'll turn it into an old folks home.
Yeah, that's just the norm.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Give it some time to get the ghost all grown. Grow
Yeah.
your ghost.
Yeah, grow the ghost.
Go grow your ghost.
But the
Plant them in a pot.
Yep. Get them all nice and grown.
Make sure you water them daily.
The patients at the asylum, they would claim that they would see shadows moving around. They would hear screams of, I don't know how the truth is. They'd say the plague victims.
I would say it's more the mental.
It's hard to say,
patients.
right? It's hard to say. Seeing shadows is like you could be. I mean, you probably did because there's tens of thousands of people that were burned
I'd say that-
and died. But
I'd say the
also,
shadows.
your mind's playing tricks on you at the same time. So a little bit of here and there.
Pareidolia.
A little bit of here and there, probably a little bit of everything.
I mean, when it's possible that there's still ghosts on that island. I don't know. I don't know if there's been enough death there.
we'll see. We'll investigate.
Or enough time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
What year was this?
Since
491?
421.
And I don't know
hasn't been
when
enough
this
death.
happened, but I also read reports that criminals, I don't know what it means by criminals, so criminals from Venice were then taken to the island and then just drowned.
Well, so this was a long time ago, not anything recent. This was like
A couple months ago.
Yeah, this was more like
was
the
yesterday.
last 10 years. No, I'm just kidding. No, this was centuries ago. But they didn't execute the criminals out on the main area of Venice for people to see. So they would take them out to the island in the water and drown them.
No, isn't that great? Like, did they just hold them down? Did they tie
They
rocks
tied
to
them up. Yeah, tied them up. And so they had them all hog-tied.
Ah.
And just, there was drawings of it.
Okay.
Some ancient Italian drawings.
Got it.
And yeah, they showed them outside of a boat just tossing people off, hog-tied.
Totally would have made
Okay.
them walk the plank.
Look at my drawing I did.
Yeah. See, we did it. Here's the proof. Here's a drawing.
Here's
I
a
did.
drawing. It's done.
Don't have a cameras.
Well, the cameras weren't around until the
Right.
1850s, so 1890s. I'd have to look that up. So somewhere in the 1800s is when cameras were invented.
They're just posing, throwing bodies off a boat.
And Tim, what's going on there today on the Poveglia Island?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
After people breaking in and vandalizing it, from what I saw in that video,
Whole lot of vandalizing.
a whole lot of vandalism.
Yeah, in 1975, that elderly home closed in 1975, and it's been abandoned since then.
Pretty much.
There's some people that have bought the island and they've tried to restore it. There's a report that he actually became mayor, but I don't know what he did to make his wealth before he became mayor, but at some point, this gentleman, I don't have his name, he bought the island. He was going to restore it, maybe make hotels there or something like that. And the construction crew, the report is they abruptly quit and stopped working on it. Some time had passed, and this gentleman lost interest in the island, and he became mayor of Venice. But I don't know why no one is interested in doing anything to it, because it looks like a cool island. I mean, it looks cool. Yeah.
Probably either really, really expensive to do anything on the island, to work on it or anything like that, or the people want to preserve it as a historic.
I don't think so. The
don't-
building's falling apart at this point.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty dilapidated.
Yeah, it's not the paper mill here in Utah. They don't want to preserve it.
Yeah,
They just
I guess
don't-
so, huh?
I mean, you got to think of how big that island actually is. I mean, it's not like a huge island by any means, but it would cost a lot of money to go and either tear that down and rebuild, or rebuild stuff that's been there since the
If
20s.
they build that into housing, would you want to live on it?
No, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I'd live there, but I would definitely go spend like
Go
maybe
hang
a
out.
couple
I think a
days
lot of
there.
people live it. Because if you look at Venice,
Airbnb.
if you look at Venice, and I've never been, but obviously they have a lot of canals and people. That's what they're famous for, right? The canals and the gondolas and everything like that. But the houses and apartments, whatever you want to call them, they're stacked on each other. They're packed together.
So they
like
could use
sardines.
more housing.
They could use more housing. They would definitely be inhabiting it.
I would want to buy something there just so I could
Maybe a
Airbnb it.
timeshare or something.
Timeshare.
Right? Just
I don't know
Airbnb
about
it
that.
as a haunted. Rent my haunted room. Look for ghosts.
Hostel.
all around the whole
Hostel.
neighborhood.
It'd be more of a hostel.
Yeah, let's do it.
They don't do Airbnbs over there. They do hostels.
Yeah, more money.
Welcome to the hostel.
It's just a hotel, a smaller hotel.
With
Yes.
sharing bathrooms.
Yeah, with shared amenities.
Yes.
bunk beds.
And rooms.
And bunk beds.
And bunk beds.
And bathrooms and
Yep.
One bathroom.
Yeah, so an Airbnb would be better because you'd have, well, it's the same damn thing. You wouldn't have to share a room, but you still have to share a bathroom. And it's nicer because it's a house and it's new. I don't know.
but they wouldn't. I'm just saying.
Look,
I know the Venetians. We're tight.
well, yeah.
I look like them.
Is it because you once visited the hotel in Vegas?
Exactly.
I walked through there a
The
few
Venetian?
times. I
I've
know
been there. I've been on the
some
gondola
history.
ride. I'm half Italian now.
Yeah. I look like them, so.
Yes, you do.
That's
You
right.
sure do. I would definitely like maybe like have an apartment there, like a vacation home maybe, but I don't know that I would like live there full time.
I like America. I think I'll stay here. I think
go
I'll stick
there.
around.
Just every
Yeah,
now
like I
and
said, a
then.
vacation home.
Yeah, that's why I did Airbnb it. Is Airbnb it?
Yeah, see, we're on the same page. Join us. After we get our yacht, we'll take our yacht to our Airbnb.
Hey, there we go. Now we're talking.
And then we can pull off the canoe
Yeah,
and then go down the canal.
the canoe will
the
take
canoe
you
that
to
we
the
have currently.
Yes. So we strap the canoe to the yacht. We take the yacht to the Italy. Get in the canoe, go to the island, stay at the Airbnb.
Call it a gondola, and we're
Yeah,
there.
gondola. We'll even hire a man to sing to us in Italian.
Oh, I'd love that.
We should go to the Venice now. I'll hire someone to take you on a boat.
I would love that.
Um,
Yes. So it's abandoned today. Venice has like prohibited anybody to even step foot on the island. However, people do it all the time. They pay big bucks to these fishermen, boatmen, whatever you want to call them.
You have to pay them a lot though, because a lot of these fishermen believe the island's cursed.
Yeah. So like, all right.
They don't want anything to do with
I
it.
watched. I've watched a few YouTube videos of people going on the island, and one they were a brother duo. They paid $200. It was like 213. Did they use euro there? I can't remember what they used. I want to say they said 213 euro which was about
I don't know. Let's ask the local European. Yeah, it's
euro.
euros.
So yeah, and no, they paid 200 euro, which was about 213 US dollars, something like that.
That's it.
Yeah.
Jesus, let's go. What are we waiting for?
You just take the risk of being caught and taken to jail, I guess. But you probably just have to pay them to the police. Like, hey,
Please don't go there, Tony.
you want another 200?
I'd get arrested. You guys would be let off.
But I see a lot of people that went on the island, and they did a lot of quick tours of the island. They weren't really, I wouldn't say investigating for paranormal.
It's the video we were watching when you walked in. They did a tour and then they investigated. Their whole video is like an hour and a half long.
Oh, really? I didn't
Yeah.
see that one.
That's a good one.
And they were British?
Yeah.
Okay. I was watching an Italian couple. I don't know if they're like, boyfriend, girlfriend couple. They were just, it was a guy and gal. And they were speaking Italian, so I had no idea what they were saying. But they were actually trying to investigate. And they got some EVPs that were pretty good. Again, I don't know what they're saying. I was trying to pull up the Google Translate app, because if you put it on camera mode, you can hold it up and you can try to get the translation when they would put it up on the screen. They heard some chimes that were pretty random on the island. Because I'm very sure from the mainland you would not hear chimes. So they heard some chimes, and they were talking. They said grazie, which is thank you, and they got an EVP of a repeat of grazie back to them. And I thought that was pretty good. I tried to record it for an EVP, did not come through on the recorder. From the television to the recorder, didn't come through good.
So it's just hearsay. More hearsay.
Yeah. I mean, every investigator's hearsay unless you were there, really.
And even if you're there, sometimes
Even if we're telling you stories that we experienced, it's still hearsay because you weren't there.
Well, that's what the one dude from Ghost Hunters said when we were in Vegas last year. Was it Steve Gonzalez?
Oh, yeah.
He was saying like Tango could be in a room and come running out and be like, "Hey, I totally just had this happen to me." And he's like, "Great, I believe that you believe that happened, but I wasn't there to see it, so I
Right.
don't know for sure."
Exactly.
So yeah, you're right. Everything we do is hearsay.
Everything we say is hearsay.
Using our pseudoscience to investigate the paranormal.
That's why we have evidence.
Yeah.
But the building is decrepit. I mean, people are like, "Well, we would go over here, but we don't want to go through there because the
floor might collapse.
The floor already has holes in it, and we don't really want to fall through here."
Half the stairs are missing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys were watching a show when I got here, and Brandy's here with us right now, and she was pointing out she could see some spirits here and there from.
Probably pointed out like at least 50 ghosts in that little bit that we were watching.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
kind of funny. She was saying how some of the families would group together, some of the people would group together, but the kid spirits were all over the place.
She said it was almost like
funny.
they were leading the two guys around the building. Like it was almost like the kids were giving these guys a tour of the island.
And this is a room up on the 3rd floor. Come step over here in the middle of the floor.
This is where we died.
Follow my voice right into the hole.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's totally abandoned now. it's against the law to go step on the island. But again, you pay a boatman, fisherman $200, they'll take you over there. They'll drop you off.
Money talks.
Yeah, and they say, well, come back in a couple hours and pick me up. And they have to keep, there's like a hole in the fence. It looks like
there's like a trail just made of.
There are trails. Watching people, I could see trails. But I was telling you, in that part where they burned a lot of people, it looks really green though. Like there's a trail, people walking, but off the trail it was really green. So maybe that's the.
Well, yeah, Ash.
If you don't have a green thumb,
Well,
and you're like, how do I get this?
Burn shit.
Burn people.
Not
specifically.
not people.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Well, like, think back when we talked about Aokigahara. The volcano erupted and the ash, like, turned that into, like, this big green, luscious forest.
Yeah, true.
Right, so, ash.
Ash.
Burn stuff.
Where volcanoes are.
Preferably not live people.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right, fine.
To make sure they're dead.
Yeah, burn dead people.
All right, don't burn dead people. Beaker said.
So was there some people that actually got permission to go to the island? Or did everyone go there illegally?
But I don't know, because I don't know what the Italian people were saying, so I have no idea if they got permission. But every video I watched, they did not have permission. They just did it.
They just talked to some people and said, take us right there.
Yeah.
There's not a certain TV show that got permission to go?
Oh, one show. Okay, I see where you're going here, Beaker. You can just say it. Don't be shy.
I'm just following your notes over there.
Ghost Adventures did do an episode there. This was in the early days. You could tell. Nick was there, so I'll tell you.
God, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, so this was in the early days.
That's going to be like 2016, 2017. When did Nick leave the show?
Probably long before that.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a long time ago. So Ghost Adventures did go there, and they had it for the night, of course. I don't know but I've never seen any other paranormal team that's been. I tried to look. I couldn't find any other paranormal team that's been to Poveglia Island, even though it's said to be the most haunted island in the world. But they were there. If you're not sure what episode this is a kind of iconic episode where you see Zach wearing those
Doctor.
Plague Doctor.
Do they have a name though? It's just Plague Doctor.
Plague Doctor mask.
Yeah, so it's the mask that goes over the eyes and has the long like snout, beak, whatever you want to call it, because they would stuff it full of herbs and spices.
Yeah, 11 herbs and spices.
Yes, 11
Yes.
specifically herbs and spices.
Mm-hmm. And that's how Colonel got his recipe.
Because that would keep you from getting the plague, apparently.
No. It would mask the smell of all the death.
Oh, of all the death. Okay.
It was pleasant fragrances.
Like lavender.
Fragrance.
All right, go remove your beak, Beaker.
It's these damn braces.
Clear your beak.
Fragrances.
Oh, okay. I thought they were thinking it's going to keep away the plague.
It was like potpourri, basically.
Yeah, true.
It's like they put potpourri in the beaks. It was to mask the smell of all his death and decaying shit that's going on around with the plague.
Now, Zach was trying to speak in Italian. Do you appreciate that?
At least he tried.
Yeah, at least you tried.
Not like when he goes to Romania and speaks English.
Yeah, because they're not going to understand. But yeah, he did try to speak some.
Some of them might be.
Dottore.
But if it was recent that they were drowning people out there might be people that speak English.
Yeah, possible. Anyway, there was one part where they were in the field. So they have a camera on the bridge that connects the islands, or connects the island, and they could hear some voices out in. They heard a lot of voices come through, like on spirit boxes and stuff like that.
2009.
2009.
Sorry, this is when Ghost Adventures went.
And also there was a part where they could hear footsteps. I remember this part very clear. They heard footsteps on the bridge, because it was a wooden bridge, and then the camera fell over. So I thought was some good evidence from the show.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the episode?
No, I never watched it.
You never
Actually,
watched the episode?
I did watch it a long time ago.
Like 2009 time?
Probably.
Okay.
It was
like over 10 years ago.
It was funny watching
10 years ago.
what Zach was wearing. He had like this really tight black shirt and some really baggy pants.
Yeah.
It was a funny style.
Well, he's
He still
always.
It wasn't
wears
that
it.
long ago. Well, he
He's-
doesn't wear the super baggy pants like that, does he?
No, I
It
don't
almost
think he
looked
does
like
the baggy
Jenko's.
pants
It
anymore.
almost looked like Jenko.
He wears cargo
He still,
baggy pants.
he still wears the mask everywhere he goes. Not the Plague Doctor mask. But still.
He should. That's what he should be wearing.
Well,
wears a
maybe I
respirator.
could have said that to him if he didn't hide from me. He's like, oh gosh, there's that guy from Ghost.
Oh, when he invited us to his museum?
Yeah.
But yeah,
And then he
but
got
he was
surprised
like,
when we showed up.
he got, well, and then he was nervous.
Oh, they
'cause he's
actually
like,
came.
He's like, oh my gosh, these guys are so famous.
He was fanboying out.
Yeah.
Like he saw me and then he saw Ghosty and he's just like, I got to sneak in here.
Yeah, he's running like
It's
he had to
he got
take a
his
dump or something.
nerves. His nerves got to him. He was like, he didn't know how to talk to us because he was so nervous.
Had
He's
bubble
never met
guts.
someone as famous as we are.
We are pretty famous.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else about? Yeah, with his plague mask. What was it called? Dr. Plague?
Dr.
Dr.
Plague.
Plague.
Dottore.
Dr. Plague.
Dottore. Kept pointing on himself.
Colonel Plague.
Well, so other than the footsteps, did they get any other evidence or anything?
Some spirit boxes, some voices. They came through, but I didn't care to keep notes of it because I don't know. I don't know the
Italian.
area. No, it's not that I don't know Italian. It was I don't know like how close radio transmission is to that island. I'm like, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell.
This is true.
And
Especially
this
if you
was
get a Faraday bag.
their
Yeah.
equipment wasn't up to what they have now.
No,
either.
they got
I mean, this
they
was
got
over
that
10 years
2009
ago.
equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
They didn't have the flux back
yes,
then.
they
They
had
had
some
nothing.
voices come through, but I don't know how relevant those are.
I didn't either.
So, but the footsteps on the bridge I thought was pretty good. You could hear that on the camera, then the camera fell over. So I thought that was pretty good evidence. And also, again, there, like I said, you could hear voices. It's also, there's a little bit of a wind, and anytime you're on island, there's going to be some wind and breeze. So I don't know how much of that was just wind coming through, you know. It sounds like you could hear voices, but it's very possible with that many deaths. But also, there's some wind. So I don't know how good that evidence is. So the best evidence for me was the footsteps on the bridge and then the camera falling over. That for me was the best evidence they had.
So I think it's safe to say this place is haunted.
I say.
But I
so.
kind of like watching some of these videos. I didn't really pick up on anything negative, even with all the
I
like,
wouldn't see. I mean,
with how like people died and all the death that went on there. I didn't feel like it was anything like evil or malicious in nature. I just felt like it was just
well, plagues don't attack the evil. They only attack the good.
got it.
That's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah, I mean, all the people they drowned too, they were all good people. That's why they drowned them.
It's like gangs of ghosts out there.
Yeah,
Gangs of ghosts.
gangs of ghosts.
These are like mafias,
Well,
families.
and the thing is a lot of people that I was watching, none of them felt scared on the island. None of them felt scared. None of them felt like, oh, I feel like I'm being watched by something trying to get me. None of them acted in that way. They were more just worried about getting caught by police. I guess there was, one of the videos I watched, there was some police that were like walked along the edge and they just kind of patrolled it. It's fenced off. And people sneak, there's like holes in the fences that they sneak into. I don't know why they're not guarding that area, but
Because they're all
police-
getting
Because
they're all
money
getting
talks.
paid.
They're probably paying the cops too. Like, hey,
Yeah.
here's some money. Can you just walk up there and act like you're looking for us?
and that's what that brother duo was saying. They came back to their room. They were only there for an hour, and they talked about it. They were like, it's kind of $200. I don't know. What if they didn't come back? Because they're supposed to come back. What if they didn't come back? We paid them. What if they didn't come back? And maybe they want us to get caught, so they have to pay the police to get away too. Like they're all kind of all in cahoots with each other.
I would have just lied and be like, we paid this boat to take us over here, and they took us to the island and left us there to die.
Those bastards. See, that's why we need the yacht. We just take ourselves there. We don't have to worry about it.
It's like, excuse us, police. We have a yacht. Out of the way.
We're important Americans.
Out of our way. Yeah.
And they'll totally understand what we're saying because we're saying it in English.
But it'd be interesting. Poveglia Island, it'd be very interesting with that many deaths. And like I said, Brandy saw so many just watching a little bit of a video of these guys. So you get to see them.
There was a large man that filled an entire door.
Ooh.
You missed that part. Yeah, he was huge. Huge.
I would definitely like to go check this place out, though.
Let's do it.
Let's get the yacht gassed
Get
up.
this- Yep. Fire up the yacht.
All right, should we call that an episode?
Yeah.
Well, if you enjoyed this episode, share it with your friends. Tell your friends about it. And then like us on social media at evp.pod, Facebook and Instagram. Or you can, if you want to share a story with us that we can read on a future episode, or if you just want to share a story with us, evp.pod@gmail.com. Also, check out our link tree. Follow the affiliate link to Ghost Up. That's where we buy all of our gear. And you can also donate to us on PayPal if you want, so we can buy that yacht and take you on a ride.
Yes, please.
All right, Ghost, you don't play that.
Peace out, butterflies.
That's a spicy an island.
This is the EVP Podcast.